Margaret, thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here and to be here for the third Startup City, Miami. It's amazing to think sort of what's happened just over the past 2 years. When we at Knight Foundation decided, along with our work in the arts and journalism, media innovation, to focus on entrepreneurship here in Miami, one of the thoughts is we really wanted to sort of find better ways to sort of connect and convene and share. And it was actually at not far from here on Lincoln Road, talking with Richard and Rana, Florida, I thought, let's do Startup City Miami. And so while there are sort of lots of events through the year, just in the last 2 years that are so near and dear to us and all of us in Miami, whether it's Emerge Americas or SIME MIA or Miami Mini Maker Fair or Black Tech Week, all these amazing things that we're doing, Miami Music Summit just last week, Startup City Miami is so special because this was actually sort of the first event where we begin to sort of connect people around sort of these ideas of thinking about Miami sort of as a startup city and sort of reframing sort of how we think about what we're doing here in Miami. Sort of around the world, cities are being reshaped, right? There's the cost to create go down, the ability to act and do is going up exponentially, right? Never before have individuals and small groups been able to sort of engage in such dramatic change. And as a result, we're seeing these emerging startup communities start around the world, right? Not just here in the US as we talk about places like, of course, Silicon Valley is sort of the place, right, for innovation and high impact entrepreneurship. But we've seen other places like Boulder and Austin and Boston and New York. But now actually we're sort of widening the map, right? We're seeing it's Silicon Valley, it's Stockholm, it's Berlin, it's Singapore, it's Medellin, it's Bogota, it's Buenos Aires, right? We're seeing these amazing sort of things happening as sort of the genie's coming out of the bottle, right? As sort of in terms of sort of being able to sort of create and do on such a transformative scale. And our thought at Knight Foundation is that Miami really has so many amazing attributes where it can play a really important role in sort of this trend that's reshaping cities around the world. And it was 2.5 years ago that we launched this effort to sort of better connect and support and propel this emerging community of entrepreneurs in Miami with the aim of trying to help make Miami more of a place where ideas are built. And with the bet that if we could do this well, that would lead to important community benefits like greater talent retention and attraction, expanded opportunity, and sort of a greater sense of possibility. Over the last 2.5 years, we've made about 130 grants of different kinds. Startup City, by the way, being one of the very first grants in this list. And it's just been amazing to see the progress. And just since in the last year, our focus has been to try and build an ecosystem, right? The thinking is that build a network, sort of build a network of convenings and gatherings, of mentor networks, of places to go for funding, of places to go for support and mentorship, all of that, right? Not something that's sort of linear, step one, step two, but instead this network of resources and supports where entrepreneurs can go to solve their particular problems and be able to sort of pursue the ideas they want to pursue on the path that they choose. And so just to give some idea of just the last year, some of the things we've been doing as we've been continuing to try and expand this network, things like the Idea Center at Miami-Dade College, the largest and most diverse college, campus-based college in the country, creating a center for student entrepreneurs within the school where all their 165,000 students can go. I'm sorry, my phone is beeping. Where all 65,000 students can go to try and help build their ideas. And hopefully we see sort of this progression of going from the Idea Center and then maybe to the Lab Miami or Venture Hive, and then ultimately perhaps to Endeavor. Or just launched LaunchCode with Jim McKelvey, the co-founder of Square, who you'll see on stage later today. And incidentally, you'll also see Leandro Fanol, who's the managing director of the Idea Center, here on stage as well. But Jim started LaunchCode in St. Louis, and now has made Miami his second city. And LaunchCode is all about sort of creating a sort of contending with and addressing the tech talent gap, right? Sort of we see these disconnects, right? Where here in Miami, we see it all the time, where job seekers say there are no jobs, and employers say there's no talent. And we see this miss, right? But not only that, what LaunchCode hopes to do is actually reach into the community in a new and different way to create an opportunity for economic mobility, where people who didn't think they actually could could have a job in tech actually have a path to actually gain those skills, to have marketable skills in tech. And it's not only that, things like Code for America. Florida previously didn't have a Code for America Fellows class ever, right? And this is now, I think, Code for America is now in its 4th or 5th year. This year, the very first one, where we have fellows who are here, 3 fellows here in Miami, who are focused on finding a particular problem in local government and then applying a technology to solve it. So now as we talk about entrepreneurship and startups, it's also, we need to think about applying that in the space of government innovation. And furthermore, something like Singularity, the Singularity Global Impact Competition, which is underway right now, where we're asking for ideas that'll impact the lives of 1 million people in the next 3 to 5 years, and addressing sea level rise, particularly an issue that we talk about here in Miami. So let's talk about it and let's address it and confront it. And right now, if you actually Google Singularity Global Impact Competition Miami, we're accepting applications until the middle of next month. The 2 winners will be able to go to Singularity's Graduate Studies program for their 10-week program this summer to try and actually build that idea. And certainly all of this, as we have these conversations, is all about creating more opportunities for doing. And I certainly encourage you to pursue that, as I think this presents a really unique opportunity as we think about just the big challenges. Well, let's take them on and create ways to do it. You know, as we think about the past couple of years, just the past 2 years, the progress has really been remarkable. We're early days, but still, I mean, we see stories when people talk about funding. We see stories like one of the biggest funding rounds all year last year. It was a company here in Miami, Magic Leap. Venture capital has nearly doubled over the past year here. In terms of talent, there was a study that came out late last fall, that actually found that Miami, in downtown Miami, had the 2nd highest growth rate of 25 to 34-year-olds with a college degree. You know, in Miami, oftentimes we talked about sort of the brain drain. Well, in fact, it's now flipped. And now, in so many ways, we're in the middle of a brain gain. We're seeing ongoing success of the organizations that have been underway sort of earlier in this, along with Startup City Miami. Endeavor was one of our very first grants, and our board chair, Adriana Cisneros, is here today. And Endeavor, just as finishing its first full year, 13 entrepreneurs, 8 different companies, selected at panels from around the world, all Miami entrepreneurs, far surpassing all expectations. And of course, this is a collective effort that sort of goes well beyond Knight Foundation. You see, Knight Foundation, we're very proud to have played a leading role in starting the Lab Miami. Well, now we're seeing organizations like WeWork, so major co-working firms that want to come to Miami and opening soon. That's a good thing. We want more of that. Or we're seeing things like Goldman Sachs launching 10,000 small businesses at Miami-Dade College. Or, of course, we see Miami-Dade County government and the Downtown Development Authority funding the Venture Hive. Those are all really good things, and we want to continue to try and build this varied and supportive network that helps entrepreneurs build the ideas that they want to pursue. In closing, I just want to sort of cite 3 things as we think about this going forward, right? Because we're early days, and there's so much more to do. Number 1, I think the really big thing for all of us to think about is to continually expand the network, right? The sort of really successful startup communities are going to be built on trying to create sort of a collision of people from varied backgrounds and biographies and ideas connecting. And our great competitive advantage in Miami is our diversity. So the more that we can create pathways so that all of Miami can engage in this, the better. And the greater impact we're ultimately going to see. Number 2, I think we all sort of continually remind ourselves it's on us. Right? We're not looking to sort of third parties. We're not looking to so-called leaders. Sort of the leaders are in this room, right? And it's not about seeking permission, it's just about doing. And continuing to think about that and remind ourselves of that will serve us well. And then, of course, number 3, our work is never done. And these are early days. It's so encouraging what's happening in Miami, but there's so much more to do. And so with that, let's get started with Startup City Miami Part 3. Thank you very much.